Once again, inside the pylon of Midwest College Football Podcast, joined by Clinton Boring. My name is Ryan Satkoviak. It is a return to our roots reaction show Sunday night instead of Saturday, like we did way back when in the first 2/3 of last year before we
Hmm.
switched. Something like that. Get used to it. There's going to be a couple of these the next few weeks, but we'll try to keep it Saturday as much as we can. Clinton, it was a fun day of football on Saturday. Week 5 certainly lived up to the hype. Not just the evening games, which both ended in close fashion at almost the exact same time,
Hmm.
which was remarkable. But throughout the course of the day, too, it was just a fantastic day of football, sir. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. It was an awesome day of football. Got to have the brother-in-law over for the two nightcap games while I got to watch my Guardians clinch a playoff spot, and then they clinched the AL Central today with a win, so that's exciting. I will have postseason baseball to root for. But as far as football, man, what a great day. The upset started Friday night. I don't know if you stayed up for the whole, I assume you did, the Florida State Virginia game.
Yep.
What I want to say what a surprise, but what not, and how does that make the Alabama loss to Florida State look? Yet they come out and beat Georgia in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Like that's college football, man. That's what's so beautiful about the sport. Illinois Illinois bouncing back, Indiana not looking like the freight train that they typically are because people go to Kinnick to die,
Uh-huh.
and USC like I'm sure being the Notre Dame fan who's more passionate about the Notre Dame or USC hate, you'll have some comments about them. But just an all around great day. That's what college football is. Beautiful week 5. I believe our next kind of biggish week is 2 weeks from now when Ohio State goes to Illinois. We've got some other big matchups that week as well across college football. So I'm great, man. It was a great win, great weekend. The Pee Wee Saints we're 3-1 now. Got another win today. We've got over our last two games 10 touchdowns to our opponent's 4. So the kids are doing some work. And now it's back to work tomorrow. How are you, Ryan?
I got like a head cold or something, and I feel like garbage right now. So if I sniffle at all, I'll try to mute it as best as I can. But
He's crying from excitement because Notre Dame looked good.
there's actually a defense there, man. No, but it's just like it's the type of weekend where we're in the end of September, and I already see people like fucking Bud Elliott making proclamations about this team's playoff hopes are dead. I'm like, unless a team has 3 losses, why are you proclaiming anything about the playoff in September? So much shit can happen. It's just, and it was like, there were like Notre Dame fans bitching at Ari Wasserman too, where he's like, Notre Dame needs help, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no shit, they need help. But also, like, why are we having this discussion right now? And then he's like, because people care about it. It's like, no, people don't care about it. You said something fucking dumb on the internet and people yelled at you and you're interpreting that as people caring about it. Like, no one, I promise you, people, no one cares about the playoff right now.
No.
It's just, it's not a thing.
4 weeks from now, then we have
Like,
investment.
at least wait until the middle of October. It's like when people come out with their pumpkin beer in July. It's like, can we at least wait until
Dude,
the first,
hold
like,
on, hold on.
65-degree day?
So we obviously haven't been on since Thursday night. Did I already say this? I don't think I did.
Oh, I don't
So
know.
I took the boys. We had to stop at the hardware shop on Thursday, and they had Christmas trees up already for sale.
That's, no, that's
It's
too
not
soon.
even October.
I
Jesus.
need firmly Halloween before
What
I'm
the
ready to look at
hell are
that.
we doing? Like, I have
It's
kids and I
insane.
love it. They get right in that store and they're like, Daddy, Christmas tree. And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
It's
I mean,
87 degrees out
oh
today.
shit, right? Like, it's September. Please don't get me to Christmas just yet. I'm
I mean,
enjoying football season.
I don't I don't really drink all that much anymore, but that's always irked me about like the seasonal beer release calendar is it's
Hmm.
always like 2 months too early. It's like, why are
It's like,
you giving me Christmas beer around Halloween?
well, Starbucks is dropping what pumpkin spice stuff in the middle of August. I'm like, homie, I'm
Yeah,
still at the beach.
no. Yeah, no,
I
I
want
still
pina
want something.
coladas.
Yeah, you can't get a summer shandy in August when it's the hottest month of the year because they've already moved on to Oktoberfest. That irks me.
Absolutely. Well, Ryan, wait. Before we go any further, I need the raccoon update. What's going on with the raccoon?
The suspect is still at large.
He's still upstairs?
I don't know if he's still upstairs, but he's not in the trap.
Oh no.
So we heard it Thursday night walking around briefly, and then Sam got freaked out and went downstairs to sleep. I'm like, if he falls through the roof, I just don't care.
Oh my
whatever.
God.
And then we have not heard it since. And I like took a softball bat and like rattled on the door to the attic like real hard a couple times the last 2 days, and I didn't hear anything. So it's either a pregnant raccoon that's just not moving because it just gave birth, or it's dead, or it left.
You
And
better hope it's the third.
well, if it's dead, I don't care because then the raccoon guy can come and just put it in a trash bag or some shit
That's
for all I
true,
care.
but you better hope he finds it quick so it doesn't start to stink.
Yeah, well, I called him today and he didn't call me back probably because it's a Sunday, and he hopefully will come tomorrow and reinvestigate, and then they can seal my roof up and I can be done with this nightmare. But yeah, there's no resolution to the current raccoon story, which is I'm not super. I mean, I'm happy that I was not awoken in the middle of the night by a screeching raccoon on my roof that was stuck in a trap. But it's the uncertainty that kills you, Clinton.
Absolutely. You're going to wake up and it's going to be staring at your face like a cat. You're going to
That's
feel like a brush of your face that's like a cat's tail because that's what they do. It's going to be that fucking raccoon staring at you.
no, dude. That I would hear it. That's not the way I want to wake up. Is like crashing through my ceiling, and Lucy would not
What would
have a
Lucy
good time
do?
with that. She would go after it.
Okay.
And those are mean motherfuckers, and I
Yeah.
don't want to have to take my dog to the
At
emergency
our
vet because she got cut up by
at
a
our old
raccoon.
house, because we were near the woods, we had a groundhog get underneath our fence and get in the
Oof.
backyard. Now this is a 6 foot tall wood fence we had. And Lola was asking to go outside, and I just thought she had to go to the bathroom or just wanted to go late because it was kind of shaded, so she loved laying in our backyard. And buddy, I opened that door, and I've never seen that dog sprint so fast in her life. She hauled ass after that groundhog, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh boy, that chunky monkey's gonna get mauled." And that little thing, I think if it could shit itself, it did, because it's like it saw her and it scattered as quick as it could, and it found the only possible hole it could get its fat little self under and wiggled hard until it got out from under that fence. Lola came about a foot away from grabbing a hold of it. And I don't know who that would have went for because groundhogs are also mean,
Yep.
but Lola is not a small dog. She's a pretty big lab, so that may not have went well for the groundhog. But luckily we didn't have to do that.
Yeah, that's how Lucy got skunked a couple months ago.
Oh
Just
no.
put your nose where it don't belong. Clinton, the nightcap of this weekend was just I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not quad box it. I had Penn State, Oregon on the big screen, and then I had Alabama, Georgia on my laptop. I don't think I actually watched a second of Alabama, Georgia.
I would turn
I
the
could not
volume
tell
on
you
when
what
Penn State was commercial.
the only thing I know is Bama went up early and hung on to win, and there was a drop pass or something late in the game for Georgia that kind of
Ryan
cost them.
Williams
But
had a epic drop pass that would have been a
I saw that
touchdown.
one. Saw that one. That was early. But
He
yeah, I
needed
don't know
his
what
teddy
happened.
bear for comfort after that one.
I was locked in on the whiteout. What an
Absolutely.
atmosphere. Oregon 30, Penn State 24. Clinton, this game had 13 points through 3 quarters. The under seemed like a safe lock, and then they went for 41 in the fourth quarter and overtimes. Boy, oh boy, did it look dicey there for Penn State, man. Oregon gets the 17-13 advantage in the fourth quarter, and you got to give credit to Penn State. They fought back. They could have quit when the fan base started chanting "Fire James Franklin," but they fought back. They got the game to overtime. Clinton, I thought they were going to win the game in overtime, but they did not. So I want to start just kind of briefly on Oregon because I have a whole Penn State thing that I want to do. But what a gutty win for
Mhm.
Oregon. And Rose Bowl aside, this has been kind of the epitome of the Dan Lanning era at least in the Big Ten at Oregon, right? I mean, in 2023 they had some trouble with Washington, but came through last year. They got the big win against Ohio State in the regular season. They have not lost a Big Ten conference game in the regular season since
12-0.
12 and 0. And they went on the road, and it felt like they didn't want to put too much on Dante Moore early. It felt like they had faith in their defense holding Penn State down. Whereas if what was he saying? Small cuts, just keep chipping
Mhm.
away. That if they didn't beat themselves, and they almost did, the Noah Whittington fumble that
Oh
wasn't a
man.
fumble because his knee grazed a blade of grass. They played a game where it was let's not make the fatal mistake, and we have confidence that we will break their will. And I mean, they almost broke their will in the fourth quarter, and then they didn't buckle again. Oregon could have buckled too. Penn State had all the momentum in the world going into overtime, and Penn State got the ball first, got the touchdown, and all the pressure's on you at this point. For the first time in that game, I would argue all the pressure was on Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and Dante Moore responded. He played a fantastic game. He didn't have, I don't want to say he didn't have to do a ton, but it was a game devoid of deep shots for the most part on
Mm-hmm.
both sides of the ball. And they just found a way in this game, Clinton.
Well, that's the thing with Oregon's offense, right? They have so much speed and athletic ability. In a situation like this, Moore just needs to get his playmakers the ball and let them do some work. I mean, Decory Moore's long was 29, Gary Bryant Jr.'s long was 25, Kenyon Sadiq's 23, and also thanks to Kenyon Sadiq for chasing down DDS on what would have been 2 points the other way, or no, it would have been a
It would have been two.
touchdown the other way.
No, it would have
Did you
been
get
two.
two for
It
that?
was because it was on the 2 point play.
Regardless, great way to catch and tackle him. Dale was the one that pointed out that it was Sadiq. But Dante Moore, man, to me, he looked pretty unfazed by the environment, which is what you want for your. I know he's not a true freshman, but essentially first time true starting quarterback in this type of environment that many other people would pee down their leg in front of. I mean, it was
Hmm.
loud. NBC did a great job allowing us to hear the sound that was going on, unlike Fox. The one thing that was still kind of confusing to me on the offense is still Oregon's backfield. It's just you
It
mentioned to
is
me before
truly,
the game that Makai
truly a
Hughes
by committee approach.
may not have even traveled with the team. He certainly was not dressed. That was our expected guy to be paired with Noah Whittington. Well, Noah Whittington didn't even lead the team in carries. That was De'Air Hill and then Dante Moore. You also have Jaden Lamar, who's got 7 carries to match Whittington, in addition to Jordan Davison. And Kenyon Sadiq even got in on the action with 1 carry for 0 yards. They ran for a total of 176. I mean, if there's ever a way to, keep your team fresh or keep your backs fresh throughout a game, Decorium Moore, Gary Bryant, Kenyon Sadiq, 7, 6, and 6 receptions. So you had some popular targets there for Dante Moore. But you're right. Heading into overtime, even before overtime, when Penn State hit the 35-yard TD pass to Ross, Oregon could have started to falter there, especially
Hmm.
with the pressure of the environment. And Lanning and the Ducks held strong, which I was thoroughly impressed with. This team, I think we're going to talk different directions almost on where these teams may head, not to the point of like that Penn State's just going to fall off and die, but the direction of who you need to take serious and maybe who you don't. And I think Oregon is on the side of you need to take Oregon very seriously because their defense is also very good.
Yes, it is. And yeah, to confirm, Makai Hughes did not travel for this game, and I wonder if that's just going to be now a 4 game red shirt and a transfer for him.
Now back to Tulane.
Somewhere else,
Maybe
but
should have stayed there.
maybe he'd probably be playing in the playoff this year. But that's neither here nor there. But yes, I think some of the things we saw from the Oregon defense in this game, the pass rush was fantastic. They got after Drew Allar. The secondary is very good. They had the not that it's necessarily the hardest thing to do, but they had the Penn State receivers locked down aside from that long Devontae Ross touchdown in the fourth quarter. But something we did see a little bit in the fourth quarter, something we've seen from them at times this year is they weren't giving up explosive runs, but it felt like every time, especially that last touchdown drive that Penn State ran the ball, just kept falling forward, 3, 4 yards a pop. Oregon could not get off the field when you needed your defense to step up and make a play, and they couldn't do it in that instance. And I mean, not all of that's on them, right? Like there was a lot of Drew Allar's scramble drill on that last drive because whether no one was open or he wasn't seeing the field well, or he just did not trust himself enough to throw the ball. But that was I don't know if concerning is the right word, you win the game, but no, we're monitoring that situation, I would say. But yes, Dante Moore, I mean, if he's not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in college football right now, I would like for you to name me 10 better because That's a monumental win for him.
We
Interested to
see why
see.
he was ranked top 10 PFF quarterback grade and why Drew Allar was 85th.
Yes, for sure. I'm curious to see the continued evolution of Decorian Moore as the season goes along. He made some very nice catches in this game. He's fast, and that feels kind of like the next step for this Oregon offense is find that Tez Johnson type who can take the top off of a defense. So you're forcing them to respect you over the top and not necessarily play close to the line of scrimmage looking for the dink and dump in the run game. But Penn State, man, we asked Thursday, if not now, then when for Penn State. And it appears that they chose Clinton, then when, because how many times are you going to watch the same movie and expect the ending to be different? It's the same
Definition of
movie.
insanity.
We are literally watching the same movie over and over and over again with this team. And again, you have to give them credit for clawing back in this game down 14 in the fourth quarter because they could have quit and they did not. And that's the sign of a team that fights hard, that has a lot of pride, and that has a good culture. Those are all positive things that you can hang your hat on if you are a Penn State fan, as much as you're probably sick of looking for moral victories in this moment in time. Trust me, I get it. This was the end of the Brian Kelly era at Notre Dame. Well, this is a moral victory. That's a moral victory. I don't care. I'm tired of it. Just win the damn game. And I wasn't sure what the pulse of the Penn State fan base was going to be after this game, given how it ended. Like, if it ended in the fourth quarter, like it ended in regulation, like Penn State just, like, let's say Drew Allar gets picked on that deep throw to Ross and then Oregon just runs out the clock. Like, I feel like the vitriol would have come out in full force for that. And I thought that maybe with the way that they fought back and lost in double overtime, that would have been muted some. And I don't know that it's really been muted some. I've seen a lot of typically positive Penn State people on our feed who've been like, yeah, I'm just kind of over this guy in regards to both James Franklin and Drew Allar. But Clinton, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired of hearing about Penn State. They're a good team. There's no doubt that they're a good team. They did not fall far in the polls. They should not have fallen far in the polls. You lose a top 10 game in double overtime. You are still a very good team. They still have the whole season in front of them. They could lose to Ohio State in a similar game, go 10-2 if you beat Indiana, and you'll be in the playoff and it won't be all that controversial. But until they win this game, I do not want to hear about them anymore. James Franklin is a fraud. The quarterback, Drew Allar, is like my golf game. He has two good throws a game that keep you coming back for more, thinking like, oh, we got this. And the rest of it just sucks. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good thrower of the football. There's no excuses anymore for it. He's in his third year as a starting quarterback. You've changed offensive coordinators for him. You've beefed up the offensive line. You've given him the supposed best backfield in college football that Nick Singleton had 20 yards rushing in this game. That's another guy I don't want to hear about anymore. You revamped the receiver room for him this year. His number one receiver last year is doing great at Ole Miss after doing fuck all for them last year. At what point are we going to look at the common denominators here, the quarterback and the head coach? That's all that there's left to change. This is who they are, Clinton. They're a 10-2 team that beats teams that they should beat every single time. 4 out of every 5 times that they play a team with equal or better talent than them, they lose. Without fail. Death, taxes, and Penn State losing this game. The offense, we've heard all season so far, well, the offense has been vanilla. They're holding back plays in big games. Clinton, it's just bad. It's a bad offense. It's gimmicky. The scheme, whatever it is, it just doesn't mesh together well. The pieces don't fit together well. Drew Allar's not capable of running it. They don't have this everything. The Colts handed off to Tyler Warren today, and he scored a rushing touchdown. They don't have that on this roster anymore. I mean, I don't know what you do at this point if you're Penn State. Like, I get the season's still in front of you, and this is going to be one of those conversations that if they come back and they beat Ohio State and they make a run in the playoff, that you clip it, and it's like, look at this dumbass talking about Penn State, and they did that this season. But, like, what confidence do we have in this program doing anything other than what they've been doing for the last 10 years? Clinton, since the 2017 season, not count. So 2016, they beat Ohio State. In the, 8-9 seasons since then, they've won 2 top 10 games. Do you know who those 2 top 10 teams were against?
I do, because we talked about this earlier, but you can let the people know.
It was Boise State in the playoff last year, and it was Utah in the Rose Bowl when Cam Rising got hurt. Those are the only top 10 games that Penn State has won since the 2017 season. That's atrocious. That's awful. That is not a serious football program.
And how many have you played in? A ton.
Yeah. It's
Because
not
you
a
face
serious
Ohio
football
State
program.
every year. You face Michigan most years. And you can't beat either one of them. And now you get Oregon, and you can't beat them either.
Yeah, what's James Franklin? I saw the tweet earlier. He's like 4-17 against Ohio State and Michigan combined or something like that. It's just an awful number.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I said earlier in the show that it's way too early to be having playoff discussions because, again, if we've seen anything from Penn State, they are going to beat Indiana. They're going to beat everyone but Ohio State on their schedule. They're going to make the playoff. The difference is this year it's probably going to be on the road, and you're going to have to actually play a real team in the first round instead of SMU at home. You still have every opportunity to change the narrative, but if they don't, Clinton,
It won't.
No, like, is this offense going to score 10 points against Ohio? Are they going to score at all against Ohio State?
It may not score at all.
Are they going to get past midfield against Ohio State? Ohio State just bottled up one of the most explosive offenses in the country. And you mean to tell me a quarterback who just threw for 137 yards in a double overtime primetime game is going to score on the Ohio State defense? Get real. It's not a serious football program, Clinton. And I mean, we can have the big picture conversation at some point if this plays out how we kind of think it's going to play out now. But like, we're seeing the conversation on Penn State Twitter now. You are at a crossroads at a program where you're going to have to make a decision at the end of the year what you want to be. Are you okay with this? Are you okay with being the program that goes 10-2 every year? You beat everyone you should. You make the playoff way more often than not, but you do it without a signature win, and you do it without making any noise in the playoff, and you do it with every single other fan base in the country pointing and laughing at you along the way because you're a joke of a program. You can't get over the hump. You cannot get over the hump with James Franklin. There's no what evidence do we have of it?
Zilch.
There's none. And until he shows it, why do you think it's going to be different the next time? You're going to turn the same damn movie on again and think that the other guy's going to end up with the girl this time?
No.
We might be living in a simulation, but we're not living in that much of a simulation.
I mean, Allar, man, he's 0-6 against AP top 6 ranked teams. And I liked your little comment earlier. You made it top 6 ranked team so you could get that extra dig in there. But again, just showing that the big game, he doesn't show up. We talk about big game James. What about big game Drew? I know he had a great, we hear it all the time. Well, the Big Ten championship last year, he had a great, they still lost. They still lost.
2 picks.
And exactly what happened in their season last year against Notre Dame. Game on the line, chance to win it, throws a pick. Guess what he did last night? Ryan, there were 3 guys there. Ray Charles wouldn't have thrown that pass. Like, at this point, I'm like, Allar's just, is he a bad decision maker? Does he not understand how to read a defense? Like, yeah, he made the great pass to Ross, which was fantastic, but he was kind of wide open. And if you don't hit that, then that looks even worse. But a Penn State starting caliber quarterback should be able to hit that. You know, and this question I actually want to save till tomorrow night. Maybe we'll do a little pretender contender because we haven't done that since last year. Can we even take Penn State seriously as a national title contender? So we'll hash that in deeper tomorrow night. But, you know, the excuses, you said it, they're over for Allar. I see people bitching last night about, well, Kotelnicki's offensive play calling was horrible for 3 quarters, and then they let him sling it, and look what happened. I'm like, I think it's the other way around. I don't think they have confidence in Allar to let him sling it until they absolutely have to.
Well, also, you got to think, like, if you're Oregon's defense and you see the entire game, like, they don't trust this guy to throw deep, why would you respect the deep ball? And they finally snuck one past you because you were playing cover 0 on that.
Yep.
I don't actually know if they were playing cover 0, but...
And then you talk about Ross, 4 for 48. Well, guess what? 35 of those yards came on one pass.
Mm-hmm.
Get 13 yards otherwise. He did have his
Mm-hmm.
2 TDs. I get it. Pena, 2 for 16. Did Hudson play in this game? Did I miss that?
Oh, he did. He
He did.
had, I
He had
think,
0 stats.
he had one along the sidelines where he caught it out of bounds or bobbled it and fell out of bounds.
Okay,
I
so
don't
because he
remember. I
has
don't
no stat
remember
line.
hearing. I don't remember hearing his name other than that, though.
Yeah, their second leading receiver in this game, Ryan, was Nicholas Singleton, 3 for 29.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost a. I know last year we didn't have in the game against the Irish, we didn't have a receiver catch a pass, but you look at Penn State receiving stat lines, and it's just like in big games after big games, it's just like what the hell is going on? And I flip back up to the top, and I see the one common denominator, and it's Drew Allar. And I get it. Maybe his receivers aren't elite, but these top tier quarterbacks that all the Penn State fans say Drew Allar is or did say he is makes those receivers better. You see it with all the good NFL quarterbacks. They make guys better. So I'm done with the excuses for Aller. I like the kid. I think he's an average quarterback. I'm with you. Fast forward a month from now, Penn State's not beating Ohio State.
Clinton,
Aller
I
is
don't even
going to
think they're
get.
going to beat Indiana.
We're going to get to Indiana here in a second, and I think the reason they may is because of the defense. They won't win because of their offense. Let's see. You already talked about the 2016. The other one thing I will say, Penn State fans had a good gripe about was DDS was held all game, man. Good Lord. Just, and I'm talking about like arm bars across the throat. I'm like, where is the flag for that? Like, again, not to tie this to the Bengals, but I'm going to compare DDS to Trey Hendrickson, being that he gets mugged all the time and gets no calls for it. And I'm like, I mean, these are blatantly missed holding calls. And I'm like, my God, it's right in front of your face. Just call it once or twice for the kid. I don't know if that necessarily gets, Penn State a win because they couldn't do anything on offense till the very end. But I feel bad for the fans, man. They're the ones that have to suffer, and they're the ones that continue to sell themselves that this story is going to be different. You and I said it last year, and we said it this summer. Even though you bought Penn State being a national title contender, yes, you're buying that, but you're still saying, I need to see it to believe it. And now you're stepping into this game right away, and it's the same exact thing as last year. I have no confidence in them. I don't even know if my pick to get them to the semifinal is going to happen now because they don't have an offense. Jim Knowles is going to have to do everything with that defense to be able to get them going. I see people shitting on Knowles and like, look, he gave up 400 yards. I'm like, guys, they were elite for like 2.5 quarters. When your defense is on the field so much because your offense can't do anything, they get tired. Like, that's just Ohio State fans taking cheap shots at Knowles. Like, what else can Knowles do? He called a very good game. They kept most big plays in check. Eventually, they're going to break. And Oregon's just too good.
Clinton, do you know how many plays Penn State ran in the first half? They ran 26 first half plays.
Oof, that's rough.
Oregon had, hold on, 20, 36 to 42.
No.
Like 1.6 to 1. At a certain point, the D's going to get tired, man. It was, I mean, it wasn't like hot this weekend, but it was not a late September.
No, it wasn't cold.
No.
It was
That
not
doesn't help either.
a nice hoodie weathered game. Like, it was probably still in the 70s at nighttime. So, I don't know, man. Penn State's got to figure it out. I'm in agreement with you that you got to have a sit down heart to heart at the end of this year about Franklin. Because people can say maybe this is the Ohio State from last year, that this helps Penn State make changes, and then they drop the Ohio State game, and that's when they flip the switch. I don't think this team has an ability to flip a switch. They don't have the offensive.
What are you going to do?
They don't have the offensive playmakers to do it.
No.
Your defense can only get you so far. DDS is only one kid, man. Tony Rojas is only one kid. Zakee Wheatley is only one kid. Like, they can't do the offense for them.
The concern that I have, too, is it's like there's no growth. Like, Drew Allar looks worse than he did 2 years ago. Like, 2 years ago, you could see the vision of, like, okay, I see why people are high on this kid. Now he's the same as he was last year, with better weapons, and he still can't find. His receivers had, 6 catches for 63 yards in this game? 56 yards?
Yep.
It's no different than last year. 6 more catches. That's the difference.
There's just no Tyler Warren to save your ass now.
No, and
Tyler Warren in this game, Penn State might win,
Well,
but you
and the
don't have him
thing too is
anymore.
like Treber Pena had 84 catches at Syracuse last year, and you mean to tell me that guy can't get open? That can't all. That's not him. That's a scheme thing.
Yeah.
Like he came here and now he can't get open because your scheme sucks. It doesn't fit your
He's
personnel.
regretting his choice to come here.
How much money has Nick Singleton cost himself this year? We're talking about a guy who was what running back 2, running back 3 in this class. He's not even running back 1 on his own team now.
No.
You got Penn State
I
fan.
don't know if
You
he's
got
a top 6, 7
you got
back in the Big
Penn.
Ten.
I guess I saw Penn State fans saying that it should be Katron Allen and one of their other guys running the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Singleton just be relegated to pass down work.
I just
How the mighty have fallen.
how
So,
how everything has gotten worse, and
um,
I'm done.
it's
I don't
tough,
want to
man.
hear about it. I truly don't want to hear about that.
Listen,
until they
Ducks,
do
focus
something.
on the highs. Great game. Huge win for Oregon. They got their first test done. As Ryan said, Penn State, and Matt Flip said it too, Penn State's offense looked lethargic in the first 3 games, and it did the exact same shit when the biggest test of the year came. The one saving grace for Penn State when they go to Iowa is that Mark Gronowski may not be playing. So we'll have to wait to get an injury update on that. But if we just saw Indiana struggle, don't be surprised when Penn State doesn't have an offense and they struggle in Kinnick.
Well, they still got they got a couple of cupcakes before.
Mm-hmm. But still,
They got the Big Ten version of cupcakes with UCLA and Northwestern. Better win those games. Clinton, let's talk about your guys. Ohio State 24, Washington 6. Is it crazy to say that I feel way better about the Ohio State defense from this performance than I did after Texas?
no, because I think Washington's big 3 trio is arguably better than if you took 3 off of Texas's roster and put it against them. Damon Williams, to this point, looks better this year than Arch Manning. And, Arch Manning's biggest thing this year was a flex on a 5'5" Sam Houston State defensive player in the end zone.
A guy who's going to be a CPA in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, Damon Williams in Washington's offense, and I get it, they have not played anyone elite yet, but what do you do to opponents that you're better than? You dominate them, and they have dominated them. Jonah Coleman has been a freight train, Ryan. Ohio State held him to 96 total yards, no touchdowns. Denzel Boston, been a monster, held him to 3 for 26. Davison Igbinosun locked him down. This Ohio State defense is elite. They're giving up 5.5 points per game. They still have allowed no touchdowns in the red zone all year. Give them 2 more times, Ryan, where they've had a team inside the 5 and stop them again. They've held every opponent this season to 9 points or less. People can't even get double digits on them. And it's not like they've played Penn State's schedule for the first 3 games.
Yeah, by the way, it's October and Penn State still has 0 wins against P4 teams.
Yeah, and if you, whatever we want to shit on, people want to nitpick stuff with Texas, like that's Texas. That's not Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a legit top 10 team in the country that you held under 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
Arvell Reese is a monster. My brother-in-law, I remember he texted me. He's like, why aren't we getting any pressure or generating sacks on Williams? Like, because their scheme is to push the pocket back and have their eyes on him so he can't escape. They don't care about sacking him right now because they don't need to.
Just
They
don't let
don't
him
want
escape.
him. They're trusting their man defense behind them or their zone. And they're telling their front 4, penetrate, but you got to have your eyes up. Don't pursue too deep. And that's exactly what they did. Damon Williams had one good run in this game, and you could see him when he'd go to take off. He was like, oh, shit, this isn't Washington State's defense.
Yeah,
They're standing here waiting on me.
That's a very large man who is running very fast at me and closing quickly, and I'm out of time.
Yes, absolutely. And you flip to the other side before I want to get your thoughts on that fake field goal, but I'll get the Ohio State part on here. People are knocking again. They're so conservative, and I get it. We people want to see the training wheels off of Sam, but I also see the point from Ryan Day. Like, this is a hostile environment.
It was the Oregon game plan. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Yes. Well, it was the Texas game plan too, right? Like, let your defense win you the game. Let Sam come along, get through the first half, and see what happens. And then, if needed, you can progress from there. So Ohio State, man, they stopped themselves early. They had the turnover on downs with the idiotic try to run off tackle or run off guard instead of just QB sneaking it. And then the fumble by Brandon Ennis on the punt return. And that gave Washington life, or this game might have been over early.
Yep.
That would have been 14-0
Hmm.
at that point. Saying super proud of him, man. He still looks unfazed by any environment or opponent he goes against. I don't know. I assume you watched a lot of this game. Maybe you didn't. The beautiful ball to the sideline to Max Clare. Washington generated some pressure. Sayan saw it, moved away, waited patiently, and just put a dart to Clare right on the sideline with the toe tap. And Ohio State, if I don't see Bo Jackson getting at least 15 carries a game, I might riot. Donaldson and Peoples are fine, but they're fairly ineffective with this offense, and they stagnate the run game when they're in, especially Donaldson. He runs upright. He does not have a low center of gravity. He's easy to tackle. They're making him a goal line and short yard back, and he runs straight up and down. Like, homie, you're not Derrick Henry. Okay? Like, I'm happy they have him. But Bo Jackson, he gets hit and he keeps going. He falls forward for 3 to 5 yards, or his contact balance is already better than both those two combined, and he's a freshman. They need more touches for him. So all in all, I think both teams had a good performance. Washington just ran into a buzzsaw of a defense. I think Washington is very talented. The fans should be excited. I think the playoff hopes are still alive. You get your shots at Michigan.
Yep.
You get Oregon.
Yep.
Guess what's going to happen, Ryan? This Washington team is only going to get better and harder to defend on offense because now they've played an elite defense. They're not going to blink when they have to go play Michigan's defense. They're going to be able to work some things out. And then by the end of the year, Damon Williams is essentially he's got a 1 year of starting under his belt. That'll be a tough challenge for Oregon. That game is in Washington, so that'll be a challenge. My biggest question for you was the thoughts on the fake field goal. Washington's up 3-0. They snapped the ball. Ohio State was ready for it. They actually talked to Ryan Day in the postgame presser and brought up like how Ohio State covered it so well. And he goes, "No, we were ready for a situation like that." That's
Well,
like a
yeah.
play out of Dan Lanning's playbook almost, right? Like
Yeah.
over
Well,
preparing.
and I mean, I get why you do it because you're not going to win that game with field goals, and maybe you think that you're going to pull a fast one on them, and clearly you didn't. And I think it looked goofy because the guy downfield was blocking who was the intended target of the pass, and I think they said on the broadcast they're like, I think the kicker was supposed to run it, and he saw he was screwed, so he just threw it.
Chucked it. Yeah. Well, they said the DeGraff, the one tight end, he thought it was run the whole way, right? And
Yep.
he's just like not paying attention.
No, that he was looking for a run. I like the interior of the Ohio State. Well, I guess not the interior, but the Ohio State defensive line. That sounds like a Canadian Western Hockey League draft. That was my favorite bit that Deadspin used to do before Deadspin sucked. Was look at these names of these 16-year-old Canadian kids in like Manitoba that are getting drafted. Caden and Braden and Jaden and Sladen. Caden Curry and Caden McDonald sound like two kids from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, about to suit up for the
Caden Curry is actually from Indiana.
5 sacks combined between those two, 8 tackles for a loss. That's a huge boon to the Ohio State defense because that was kind of one of the big questions about the defense this year, right? Is who's going to step up on the defensive line to replace the 4 behemoths that were lost from last year? And we have our answer. And
They look like they might even be better.
Yeah, now you have a linebacking core that's playing as good as any linebacking core in the nation. 2 physical, athletic freaks who might be first-round picks next year. You have a secondary that has the best player in college football. You have an improving cornerback trio.
Davidson Igmanosin, still no penalties this year, I think.
The oven mitts have worked well for him. And now you have some guys on the defensive line that you can count on to step up and make plays. That just makes the defense much more difficult. And Clinton, show me the loss on the Ohio State schedule because I don't see one right now.
Yeah. Well,
I think they might actually be.
I'll hold my tongue on Michigan. I'll hold my tongue. Caden Curry's stat line here, man. This guy has waited patiently. He had to sit 3 years behind Tui Malone Sawyer. 11 tackles, 9 solo, 3 sacks, 5 TFLs, all by one man against a quarterback who is a scrambling, Madden-generating machine.
9 solo tackles for a defensive lineman is nasty work.
He's a monster.
So good.
I have pined for years, even as a freshman, to get this kid on the field because his motor is something that we haven't seen in so long off the edge. Like, he's not a Bosa. He's not a Chase Young. He's just relentless. He is a pest. He doesn't stop. And the good thing about him is he didn't over pursue in doing these things, or else he wouldn't have 9 solo tackles.
Yep.
He was elite. Kenyatta Jackson played fantastic. If I had one gripe, Edric Houston, the 5-star from last year, pretty solid reps as a freshman. He is not having a great year to start. He's gotten some dumb penalties, which is
Yep.
limiting his playing time. He has to straighten that out because when Michigan comes calling, you know what they're going to try to do. They're not even going to give a shit about throwing the ball with Bryce Underwood. They're going to try to punch your face in again.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be stout against the run. But you're right, Ryan. Outside of the Michigan game, because it's a rivalry game, Penn State's not beating Ohio State, barring
Nope.
Ohio State handing them the game.
Yeah, that's
Illinois is not going to be able to move the ball on Ohio
listen.
State. I don't care
They
if it's in
tried to do it
Champaign.
last year and they still beat them.
Yeah, like it's just I'm happy as an Ohio State fan. I don't want to overlook anybody because I think Illinois will get to them maybe next. Hell of a bounce back. They are a good team. If they force you into some turnovers, Ohio State's run game still needs some work. I think that will be hashed out when Bo Jackson takes most of the reps. But they look pretty damn good. Them and Oregon look like they're on a collision course to meet in the Big Ten championship, as it should be.
Well, let's talk about that Illinois game because this was another banger. Illinois 34, USC 32. The fourth quarter USC ghosts have not been excised, as it turns out, but this was back and forth. There was Illinois tried to give this game to USC on multiple occasions. They had, two fumbles inside the 5-yard line. One, I'm not even sure how it was a fumble because it
What had
looked like he
happened.
was on the ground for a solid second and a half before the ball came out, and they still said it was a fumble. Then I think the second one was Khalil Valentine when Illinois was driving
Yes,
to
fumbled it in the end zone.
put the game away right before USC's go-ahead touchdown drive. So your kind of overall thoughts on this game because, I mean, it's a hell of a bounce back for Illinois. I mean, a gut check win, right? Like your manhood was called into question last week. You got your ass kicked up and down the field for 60 minutes. You had Kurt Signetti in his press conference talking about Iowa. He's like, yeah, it's going to be more of a challenge than it was last week. Like just shitting on your grave. And you got this.
He wasn't wrong, though.
He was not. He was not. You have this high-flying USC attack that's coming in. That's apparently the best team in the country if you listen to USC fans. And
All 5 of them.
well, they're all loud, Clinton. And you go up 24-10, you have the game on lock, and you try to give it up. And it looks like you're going to have back-to-back losses with this one being in heartbreaking fashion. But you drive down, you get the win, and your goals for the season are still all in front of you.
Well, Ryan, you already said it. One, what an amazing bounce back by the Fighting Illini. It shows you how great of a coach Bielema is, because a great coach would not have got that team to bounce back and play this manner of ball. And part of it I saw too, man, it's still that I don't think USC's adjusted to the physicality of the Big Ten.
Agreed.
Because Illinois would run the ball and just punch them, and they didn't look like they could handle it.
Clinton, Illinois had 2 rushing yards against Illinois. They had 171 in this game.
Yeah. Absolute bounce back. USC, though, Ryan, again, you alluded to it. You had a chance to prove to everyone that you weren't the same as 2024 when you would collapse in the fourth quarter. And guess what happened?
You did it
You had a fourth quarter lead and you lost again.
in under 2 minutes.
Absolutely. And I saw some USC fans talking some smack about Illinois fans rushing the field for beating them.
Oh, who cares?
First off,
it's college football.
it is. First off, Illinois is a 6-win average year, maybe a little above, mostly below football program. When they get a chance to beat a historical ranked team like USC, let the damn fans enjoy themselves. That's a huge win for them, especially for what just happened last week. But their comment was, well, they're only rushing the field because, USC's everybody's Super Bowl. Like, you are not the brand you think you are. You are not the brand you once were. You have been irrelevant
gosh.
since Pete Carroll.
So
In
I
your
want-
matchup with your first tough opponent, you lost again.
USC has there's so many annoying fan bases with their stupid ass burner accounts, the nameless, faceless accounts. USC's are by far the worst. I got one. There was one that was like, "This is USC. It's not Nebraska." I'm like, brother, man, you have been Nebraska for the last 15 years. You haven't done anything since Pete Carroll left. You have a Rose Bowl. That's it. You've played for one conference title. You were a 6-6 Big Ten team last year. You were a 7-5 Pac-12 team the year before. You haven't done anything. You've never made the playoff. You're not going to make the playoff this year. You might lose 3 straight games with Michigan, and Notre Dame might put 70 points on this USC defense the way that they're playing. You're nothing.
Bet the
You're a
over in
flashier.
that game.
You're a UCLA with money, and you're
Yep.
soft. It's still a soft team.
Yep. And one thing I will say, Maeva looks good. 30 of 43, 364 yards. He had the 2 touchdown passes to Mekhi Lemon. First of all, future reference for teams playing USC, don't try to cover Mekhi Lemon one-on-one.
No, especially if Jacoby Lane's not playing.
The dude is elite. 11
Yeah.
passes, 151 yards. Lane did play.
Did he?
Came in.
Oh,
yes, he came in like the fourth quarter. He was like an as needed because they said his name. I was like, wait a second. I thought he was out. But no, he was just highly questionable, and they put him in to try to make something happen. If anything, it's like a Saban and Waddle just to be a decoy.
Yeah.
A hell of a bounce. Well, first of all, more props to the USC players here. Wayman Jordan looks really good, man. 94 yards, 2 TDs for him. He looks good. Really, really good for them. But then you flip over. Altmaier, 24-26, 328 yards, threw for 2 touchdowns, rushed for another one, and he caught one.
First Illinois player, Clinton, since 1999. I did not catch the guy's name on the broadcast. Hank something? Hank Bixley? I don't know. Thurman Munson.
Absolutely impressive for Illinois. Walk-off field goal to win the game. Fantastic for them. USC, as Ryan already said it, you better get ready because Michigan looms after your bye week. Michigan plays Wisconsin this week. They are going to eviscerate Wisconsin, and they're coming for blood out west for you.
They might not even need to throw a pass in that game. They just go full Navy triple option and hit USC in the mouth 55 times, and they'll probably win.
Yeah, I agree.
How many over/under touchdowns for Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love in that USC Notre Dame game? 6.5. What do you take?
Ryan, I'm still stuck on my trend. They're going to be they missed 250 by 4 yards this week of combined yards, 246.
Well, to be fair, Clinton, they missed that because they were up
out in the fourth quarter.
They were up 42-13 at halftime.
Yeah. But here's Illinois' next upcoming though. Purdue win, Ohio State loss. Washington will be interesting. They have to go out west for that. That'll
be tough.
That's a tough one for Washington and Illinois, but Rutgers, probably a win. Maryland, probably a win. Wisconsin, a win.
Rutgers and Maryland will be interesting.
There'll be challenges, but if Illinois plays the way they did this past week, they'll win those.
Agreed.
And then they're beating Northwestern.
Defensively, they have to be better, especially against the Rutgers.
But, I mean, October 11th, you get a bye week before you go to Washington at least. October 11th and October 25th is your season. If you lose both of those, you're 9-3. You're not making the playoff. You got to find a way to make sure you clip Washington.
To be fair, I think if they lose to Ohio State in a similar fashion to how they lost to Illinois, they're not going to be looked upon favorably in that 10-2 mashup of teams.
Absolutely. But again, Illinois is staring down the barrel of a very good chance at a 9-3 season.
But again, even if they do go 10-2 and you just miss the playoff, I'm sure 98% of Illinois fans would be like, you know what? That still was pretty cool.
You know what you get? That's a selling pitch to get kids who are on the fence to come to your program.
And if anyone looks down on that season, don't be a fun sponge. If you look down on a 10-2 season that misses the playoff, that's still a hell of a season.
Absolutely. All right, Ryan, where are we going next? We going to your Irish?
No, let's talk about the all-time letdown spot that was not a letdown spot. There is something about Kinnick, Indiana
on the cock.
20, Iowa 15. Did you see how this game ended?
I did. I watched pretty much the whole game.
That kneel down shit at the end, like people, I've seen so many people who were like conspiracy.
I turned it off for that. I did not see that.
Okay, so there were so many people conspiracy theorying the Fernando Mendoza safety, like oh, we got to investigate this shit. So because you'll know sometimes when you're like trying to melt clock, the quarterback will like drop back and he'll wait to take a knee before like going down to melt more clock. The ref blew the whistle before he went down. Every single time. Iowa was not rushing and he just stood there, and then the ref would blow the whistle. So they're looking at the ref like, why are you blowing the whistle? He didn't take a knee yet. So then he just ran backwards to not have to deal with that anymore or something. I don't know, but that was kind of a fascinating end of the game. But this was a slugfest. Back and forth. Mark Gronowski gets hurt early in the fourth quarter on a field goal drive, so Hank Brown came in and threw an interception. And yeah, it was just not a great end of the game for Iowa. But what were your kind of overall thoughts on this game?
Sorry, I was deleting what I was about to send to this Penn State fan who said, "What went wrong against Oregon? Before we get into this, Franklin isn't the problem. I overreacted." Number two, what's really wrong is Andy Kotelnicki plays Drew Allar in the wrong scheme. Like,
Wait, what?
yes,
Where was this?
this is what they're. This is a PSU recruiting. Aller 6'5", pure pocket passer. He shouldn't be playing in an RPO motion offense built for a mobile quarterback. And then
I
when
mean,
Andy Kotelnicki switched to pro style in the fourth quarter, Aller looked incredible. I don't think he looked incredible.
I
He
wouldn't
hit
say
a
he looked
wide open
incredible.
receiver.
He was also like most of their yards on the left drive came on scrambles. I do agree though that I think like if you put him in a West Coast offense, he'd be a lot better.
He
And
would be, but that doesn't mean he's going to be some first round pick. This
no,
is this is
he's
the Penn
going.
State fans selling themselves again, Ryan.
Yeah,
The
he's
same
gonna.
shit's going to happen when you play Ohio State.
Drew Allar is going to cost a general, like an entire NFL front office staff, their job in
Yeah.
6 months
Yep.
because someone's going to
Absolutely.
take him in the top
The
10. And he's
Browns.
going to be yeah. Maybe that'll finally be the thing that gets Stefanski fired. No,
My
what are
general
your?
take on this game. You know, Signetti wasn't wrong when he said it was going to be a tougher matchup.
Well, I think we all
We
knew.
know,
We all
we
knew.
know, we know when you go to Kinnick, man. That's Ferentz's home stomping grounds. You're in for a dogfight. I don't know, our guy Jeff would know way more than this, but how often does Iowa get blown out at home? It doesn't happen.
No.
Indiana came into this game ranked second nationally in total offense and scoring offense. They were held to 337 yards, Ryan,
To
and
be
they're the
fair,
lowest scoring output of
Clinton,
the
to
season.
be fair, there was a minus 40 rush at the end of that game that
Yeah,
had no
that's
impact
true.
on the game.
Yeah, but that's still only 377, and for them, they're looking at
No, for
600
sure.
plus
Yeah,
yards.
no, for sure, for sure.
One of our listeners to the show and a friend of mine who is an IU fan, he said what he noticed in this game is they waited way too long to get out of their RPO system and just start attacking downfield and doing different stuff. They just tried to be RPO, and it really made them struggle. So there's a thought there. Sig quote here: "It was the good, the bad, and the ugly, and there was a lot of the bad and the ugly." He said. Here's my thought again on this Indiana offensive line. I brought this to people's attention early in the year when it looked like Mendoza wasn't getting sacked, but he had to move himself around a lot. That was in this game. He was sacked twice. He had 5 quarterback hurries. The Oregon and Penn State defensive lines will be much, much, much stiffer tests
Yeah.
for this Indiana offensive line. The big story out of this one's, man, Gronowski. He's got hurt. Ferentz said it felt like he couldn't decelerate when he's running, so that's probably not promising. But
No.
I'm sure in the next through this week we'll get something. Iowa is on a bye, so if it's something that is short term, that's very advantageous for them because Penn State and Oregon do come to town, so they're gonna need to have him ready because I feel like Gronowski's been week by week steadily improving, kind of like a Max Brosmer last year. It takes that time to adjust. He still doesn't have elite weapons to throw to. So that's a big hit for Iowa if they lose Gronowski for any
Agreed.
extended period of time. But
Yes.
overall, I know I said this was my lock of the week, and Indiana would score 40 something points, but on the real, this is kind of what we probably expected, right? A bit of a slop fest. Iowa needed to slow this offense to have any chance, and that's exactly what they did, and they made Indiana earn it.
Yeah.
And that'll go a distance for Indiana, right? Like you've got to go to Oregon and you've got to go to Penn State. You
Just learn how to
won
win.
a hard fought game that you didn't just blow the doors off somebody, and you couldn't do that last year.
No, and I
You
think
won the Michigan one, but you didn't beat
Yeah.
Ohio State and Notre Dame.
and I think the softness of the IU schedule last year ended up hurting them in those big games too because it's almost like they didn't know how to take a punch last year. And when you play a game like this where not only do you take a punch, but you get knocked down a couple times and you still get back up and you respond, that helps you as the season goes along and you get into these precarious situations because you're not going to blow out Penn State. You're not going to blow out Oregon. You're going to be in a 4-quarter fight with those games, and you have to know how your team is going to respond when they get hit in the mouth. And I thought they responded really well in this game. Big touchdown pass at the end to Elijah Surratt. He had a big game again. So
Shook loose, man. Playmaker. Always
uh,
open.
He's always open. This is not really a game that I'm super worried about with Indiana. You're coming off of a big win against a top 10 team where you eviscerated them. This felt like an all-time letdown spot, not like completely devoid of the context of who they were playing, but you combine that with it being at Kinnick. This felt like the trappiest of all trap games, and they came out on the other side alive. So that's all you can ask. Let's move on, Clinton, to the only game that happened in the South this weekend that we're talking about.
Fatality.
That is the end of the Sam Pittman era at Arkansas because Notre Dame beat the shit out of them.
Got him canned.
56-13. It felt like the Purdue game last year when they took a holding penalty at the end of the first half and they just handed off a draw to Jadarian Price and he scored a 65-yard touchdown because the Purdue defense quit. That almost exact same thing happened in this game. It was 42-13 at halftime. Price and Love are outstanding. CJ Carr is outstanding. He had 294 passing yards in the first half of this game. Clinton, do you know how many times Notre Dame threw for 290 yards in an entire game last year?
0.
It never happened. Riley Leonard's season high for passing yards was 255 in the national championship game. CJ Carr had more yards passing at halftime, his fourth career start on the road in an SEC stadium, than Riley Leonard had in every single game last year. This, it might be the best Notre Dame offense I've ever seen. And that's saying something because there's been, I mean, maybe it's not saying something because it's just not like we're talking about fucking Ohio State going from, Terrell Pryor at quarterback to Braxton Miller to Dwayne Haskins to Justin Fields, where it's just dudes throwing up 40 touchdown seasons. But like, if you go back to like the Weiss era where it was Brady Quinn and Jimmy Clausen slinging the ball around, they had legitimate dudes at wide receiver. They didn't really have a running game like this. And this running game is so good. They've firmly settled on the 1-2 punch instead of doing kind of a pseudo by committee thing that they did last year where they had roles for 5 different guys. Now it's just, we're going to spam Jeremiah Love until he needs a break, and then we're going to spam Jadarian Price and ride him until he scores a touchdown, and then we'll put Love back in the game. God, it's so fun to watch. And they have a deep passing game now, so it's really hard for a defense to key on the run because if you do that, then they are just going to go up top, jump ball to Malachi Fields, who turns that 50-50 ball into like a 65-35 ball, or out wide to Jordan Faison or to tight end Eli Raritan. It's a really fun offense. And Clinton, the good news is there was actually a defense in this game. And I think that's the most notable takeaway from this is the defense actually looked good against an Arkansas offense that has been really, really, really good this year.
Carr's the truth, man. He tied a Notre Dame freshman record throwing 4 TDs. This was set by Ron Powlus in 1994. 31 years that record sat, and now it was tied. Love and Price, man. Best duo in college football. They're everything that Penn State wants Singleton and Allen to be. They're monsters. 248 yards, so I said 246. And they had 6 TDs between the two of them. Makes my Jadarian Price fantasy pickup, makes me so happy. Arkansas's defense allowed 420 yards in the first half, 643 in the game. That's horrible.
Not good.
Arkansas's 42 first half points allowed were the most the team's given up in an opening 30 minutes of a game since allowing the same total to number 1 USC in 2005.
Oof.
So, Notre Dame clearly has something on offense. You said, piece the defense along, get them comfortable. You're going to get tested with USC's pass game, for sure.
Yep.
But if your offense keeps humming, it's the reverse thing, right? So sometimes with a young quarterback, you need the defense to lean on to get the offense going. Well, this is going in reverse. Where it's almost like a Carr and the offense are the crutch for Chris Ash and the defense. But Leonard Moore will eventually get healthy. Notre Dame looks good, much improved. Everyone keeps saying if they replay the A&M and Miami games, they for sure win. Well, guess what? You don't get that chance.
Don't. You believe
you got it. You have to play what you have now, and you need to go 10-2. And they look like a team that's on their way as long as the defense continues to improve. Because if the defense doesn't, if they come out and lay an egg against USC, they're going to be in for a real tight, maybe goes a way they don't want to. I feel, though, that Marcus Freeman, unlike Lincoln Riley, will find a way to have his team ready to roar and be fired up because all this stuff where, the rivalry may be ending or whatever. And I think Notre Dame's defense will rise up in that game.
USC's offense really good. I'm not worried about that game at all. I think Marcus Freeman might try to murder USC in that game. Did you hear the proposed USC extension of the rivalry? It was 2 years, and they tried to backdoor NBC and Fox by having one of the games be a neutral site in Mexico City, and they tried to sell the rights to broadcast that game to Netflix.
Yes, right. I told you this.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, I told you this on Thursday night.
Oh, I heard another podcast about it over the weekend. I was like, that's insane. So
Yes.
all the annoying fucking USC burner accounts that are like, there's a multi-year extension on the table. Yes, it was a 2-year extension that USC wanted to play in fucking Mexico City on Netflix.
Yep. So they could get their revenue, additional revenue.
Soft program. I'm not worried about
soft,
that. Not worried about them. Speaking of freshman quarterbacks, Clinton, Drake Lindsey has stones. Minnesota 31, Rutgers 28. On what amounted to the game-winning touchdown drive with 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game, Drake Lindsey was 6 of 7 for 72 yards and the game-winning touchdown. He was tremendous in this game, and he had to be because there was no Darius Taylor, there was no A.J. Turner, and Minnesota really struggled to run the ball. So the remedy to that was throw it 41 times, and Drake Lindsey completed 31 of those passes for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. You got him for this year, and you got him for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude might be 3 and out the way that he is playing because he's a big dude. He has a big arm, and he is playing great football right now.
Till he meets the buzzsaw of Ohio State's defense next week.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But
however, A.J. Turner is done for the year. I got that update because he was on my fantasy team, so they will not have him. Again, I swear to you, I told you Thursday Taylor was supposed to play. There had to be something that changed because I read an article that said Fleck said he was going to play.
Yeah, well, it was an early update by Pete Thamel too. He tweeted out Darius Taylor's now not expected.
I'm also gonna say too, maybe they're waiting. Hey, let's give you one more week. We think we can pull this out against Rutgers. Let's have you ready for Ohio State because we're gonna need you. It's just more heartbreak for Rutgers, man. They've led in the fourth quarter for both their Big Ten matchups, and it was a loss. Can't finish. Ethan Kaliakmanis was good again, 249, 2 touchdowns. Antoine Raymond looked good, career high 161 and 2 scores. And you still can't find a way, and it's your defense. But again, you're on the road. You give the home team the chance, and Drake Lindsey stood tall, man. Rutgers got a chance. They got it down to Minnesota's 26, and they had a miscommunication on a shotgun snap. It lost them 15 yards, and the game-tying field goal from 56 was just wide right.
Yep.
And that's how the story goes sometimes. And you've got to find a way to put teams away so that this doesn't happen. And their inability to do that cost them again here in 2025.
Yes. Jalen Smith had 103 yards receiving. John Tracy caught the game-winning touchdown pass. He had 6 catches, 54 yards. It looks like they are starting to develop some weapons out wide. If Darius Taylor gets healthy, this is going to be an interesting team to keep tabs on.
You got to go back to the Cal game, though, and shake your head. I know it's not a Big Ten game. But you're like, what the hell did you do? You're better than that. Yeah. Again, you're going to see what Drake Lindsey's made of this weekend.
For sure. Yeah.
He's not, I don't believe he's that mobile. So Ohio State's not going to have to hold court the way they did with Damon Williams. They can come after him.
Yeah. And
they don't have any elite receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I continue to say this, and y'all can rain on me if you want. The next Ohio State safety to replace Caleb Downs will be Coy Parrish next year. So Columbus fans, you're watching your starting safety for next year. It's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Y'all going to eat your words. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Bet you $20 it's not going to happen.
You don't need to bet me because it's 100% lock.
Then why don't you put money on it?
I don't know. Where can I put money on it? Does FanDuel have that option?
I just bet you right now. $20.
I'm telling you, it's coming. But good win for Minnesota. Heck of a start. It's obviously a shame they lost to Cal. But the Big Ten season's right there for them. Way to start the year.
Clinton, lock of the week. UCLA +6. Good teams win, but great teams cover. Northwestern 17,
and
UCLA 14.
UCLA still can't win a game.
I actually had this on the quad box for a minute. I'm not gonna lie to
I
you.
did too.
I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it.
They made it
It
interesting.
was a valiant. Yeah, I think Northwestern got up early, and then I just kind of tuned it out. And UCLA made a valiant effort to come back. They got a late touchdown, 2-point to make it a 3-point game, but then they went 3 and out and couldn't really get going on their last drive. Preston Stone was not great, but you highlighted the poor UCLA run defense, and that's what Northwestern did well. Caleb Komalafe had 119 yards on 27 carries. Joe Hyman had 58 on 8 carries. And Griffin Wilde out wide, he had caught 7 of Preston Stone's 12 completions and had 98 of their 115 passing yards. So it's a one-man show out wide for the Wildcats. But for UCLA Clinton, this felt like their best chance to avoid a donut in the win column. And yeah, they didn't do it.
Well, Ryan, it's the Nico show. That's all it was. 19 of 27, 180 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He was also their leading rusher, 14 carries for 65 yards. Now that was aided by a 32-yard long run. But then we said, is there anyone outside of Nico and Quasi Gilmer who also led the team 3 for 51 and 1 TD? Your boy Rico Flores did get 4 for 443 in this
Finally
game,
healthy.
but they don't have anything. They have nothing to complement Nico. Nico's not a bad quarterback. I don't think he's elite. He's not bad.
He's got no help.
He's just like Drew Allar. I'll catch flack for that if a Penn State fan listens to this one.
That'd be a fun Twitter poll. Who'd you rather have your quarterback right now? I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
Maybe I should post.
No,
I'm
Clint,
going to post that.
No, that's rage baiting. Please don't do that. That's so disrespectful.
But you mentioned 199 yards on the ground for Northwestern. I laid the game plan out. They did it perfectly. They excelled. Again, Preston Stone, no interceptions at least. Better QBR than the 5 QBR he had against Tulane. And in Northwestern's defense, 3 sacks on the day, 4 TFL, so solid for them. Northwestern's 2-2, and UCLA's just staring on the gun of 0-12, man. It's getting ugly.
Yeah, I pointed at the Ohio State schedule and said, "Show me the loss." Now I'm pointing at the UCLA schedule and said, "Show me who they're going to beat," because
Nico now has the ability to redshirt. He's played his 4.
Yep.
Will he do it?
Yeah, I did put that in my notes. Is the what does he do now? Is he gonna kind of ride it out for the rest of the year and see what happens and get his game reps, or is he just gonna say, "I'm gonna just start somewhere else next year"? I mean, it's not gonna be somewhere good, but I mean, you can do the whole
G5.
Malachi Nelson rehab tour at UTEP and hope that you're good enough that a P4 team takes a shot on you the year after.
Go to Boise State. You'll be the quarterback for Boise State next year.
I guess Maddox Madsen. I don't know what year he is, but they're throwing the ball well.
Does help me here? Is Mendoza done after this year? Could Nico go to Indiana? Signetti train?
I don't know if he has any eligibility left, but I'd assume that
they also have his brother there.
Yeah, and I'd also assume that in what is looking like a terrible quarterback class, Fernando Mendoza is just going to go because he's probably going to be a first-round pick by default.
I think they're
almost
pretty sold. I think Sammy made it sound like they're pretty sold on his brother right after that. So
yeah,
package deal.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing on UCLA's schedule that looks winnable. They might end the program after this Penn State game. Penn State might force them to do that, but at Michigan State is going to be difficult, even though Maryland is coming to you. Maryland has been a functional offense this year. At Indiana, we can just chalk that as an L. Nebraska, there's going to be more Huskers fans than UCLA fans at the Rose Bowl. They're not beating Ohio State. They're not beating Washington. They're not beating USC. Sucks.
It's 0-12, man.
That's sad.
And we were encouraged by the end of the season last year, and then of course you learned everything that they built within left. So you're starting from scratch again, and now you got to start from scratch a third time.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate for the kids that are there. When this season is over, you're going to probably see a barrage of kids in the portal again. So now you got to pull a Deion Sanders and go play NFL free agency and bring 50 kids. But the problem is you have to sell them on your program.
Yeah.
And is Nico even going to be standing there to sell them on?
No.
I really enjoyed having Mike Regalado on, and I can't wait to have him hopefully back on next year. But when he said 8 wins, I was like, man, that's swinging for the fences. I think you guys should start at like 4. And they're not even going to get that.
No, I mean I saw the vision, but
Absolutely.
it felt like his version or his vision for 8 wins was like an if everything goes right,
Mhm.
and it feels like everything is going wrong for them.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And maybe Mike is a guy we need to hit up in the offseason too. But hey, man, what's the status? Like, what are they going to do now that Nico left, or what are they going to do to put around Nico now that he's there? And where do they turn for a coaching staff hire? Like UCLA, Virginia Tech's a better job than UCLA.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to do that? I know it's on the West Coast versus the East Coast, but Virginia Tech's a better job.
Oh, Clinton, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
We have a Super Bowl halftime performer announcement.
Oh, my God.
Something called Bad Bunny. What is a Bad Bunny?
Oh, he's like a DJ type
Oh,
Latino
Lord.
thing, I think.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Well,
Well, it is California.
I'm officially old.
No. The last time we had a Super Bowl in California at San Francisco, the Super Bowl halftime show was during daylight, so it wasn't even enjoyable because it wasn't dark. So,
All right. Well, all right. I'm old. That's all for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night talking, I guess, pretender or contender.
yeah, maybe I'll throw a little list together and get him to run over to Ryan so he can get some data for y'all. Because last year it was reversed. I was the person being asked the question, so we'll flip it to Ryan now.
Sounds like
And then we'll get our rolling ground player of the week for you guys.
Yes, should be fun. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Sorry it was Sunday. It'll probably be Sunday next week, but we'll talk to you about that on Thursday anyway. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, same place.
Deuces.
Bye.